Hey classic TV fans, I'm sure you're familiar with the Ghostbusters movie and its animated series, but today we're going to discuss the first Ghostbusters to hit television screens way back in 1975. It featured those two great actors, Forrest Tucker and Larry Storch, who starred together in a similar buddy role on the Western comedy series F Troop. This Ghostbusters was a Saturday morning TV show developed by Filmation Studios, and it wasn't actually related to the movie Ghostbusters. Filmation created a ton of Saturday morning favorites, including Superman, Batman, Shazam, Secrets of Isis, and Fat Albert. The series characters featured a gorilla named Tracy.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
With Eddie Spencer and a human named Kong, just to confuse the audience, I guess. And these guys were like a crazy team of paranormal detectives who had their own ghost-busting machine, the Ghost De-Materializer. Some of their more famous ghost encounters involved Dr. Frankenstein and his monster, a mummy, the Red Baron, the Canterville Ghost, Count Dracula, Billy the Kid, Belle Starr, the captain and first mate of the Flying Dutchman, Dr. Jekyll, and Mr. Hyde even. The show was a big hit, but Filmation wanted to put their money on their number one new hit, Shazam and the ISIS Hour. So only one season with 15 episodes was filmed, which they likely regretted later as ISIS started to go downhill just a little bit after that first season.
I got showbiz on the brain.
Yeah, and you're playing to an empty house.
In 1984, the movie Ghostbusters, the one with Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray, had to pay Filmation for the rights to use the name Ghostbusters. With the success of the movie in 1984, Filmation revisited their old version of Ghostbusters in a new animated series in 1986, while the movie version of Ghostbusters had its own animated series called The Real Ghostbusters, which ran from 86 to 91. Now, Filmation's animated Ghostbusters only ran for one season in the daytime syndication market, but they created an amazing 65 episodes in 1 year. They even produced toys based on the show's characters. Now, Forrest Tucker and Larry Storch had previously starred together on F Troop from 1965 to 1967. Now, if you haven't seen this series, but you love classic comedies, then you need to see this series. It's just hilarious. Now, F Troop was set between the years 1865 and 1867 and featured the most bumbling band of misfit soldiers to ever grace the television screen. Now, I remember coming home from school one day and discovering this show for the first time in reruns. I mean, the nice thing about being young is everything is new, even old reruns. Now, Forrest Tucker and Larry Storch, they must have been great pals because they worked together again on the 1981 TV movie The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and an episode of Love American Style, and Grizzly Adams on an episode entitled Gold is Where You Find It back in 1977. Now, that's the series about a mountain man who has a giant bear for a pet. Now, Tucker wasn't just a comedian. He was also in a lot of action movies, including the 1949 Sands of Iwo Jima with John Wayne.
That's war, boy.
What's war?
Trading real estate for men.
Now, Larry Storch, who just died in 2022 at the age of 99, was a huge part of classic TV Saturday mornings. He was the voice of the Joker for the 60s Filmation Batman cartoon series, Phineas J. Whoopi on Tennessee Tuxedo.
Ah, yes. Let's see. Whoopee!
And other voice work in shows like The Pink Panther, Groovy Ghoulies, The Inspector, The Brady Kids, and a lot more. Now, Bob Burns was the human inside the gorilla suit for Ghostbusters. He was best known for his work with and collection of movie props for horror and sci-fi movies. Now, at the time, there was a lot of people who actually thought That was a real gorilla.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Wow, you should have seen that thing. Took off like a rocket.